All right, I guess we're clocked in. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure having you coming in or even stopping by. Now, I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. And essentially what I do as a spiritual healer, man, it's just a lot. And it's also a pleasure for me. And I'm saying this being a lot, not because it is a lot in itself, but it's more from an understanding perspective. I understand what it entails and what it implies in people's life, and how significant it is. So, but essentially what that is that I help you to become a better version of yourself or the best version of yourself. I help you to become what is called Christ-like, Buddha-like, or Krishna-like, and what that means, and we'll be talking about that. In fact, a big chunk of this conversation revolves around just that. The practicality of this message. Not just this message, but spirituality as a whole, and your essence too. We are doers, man. I mean, whether you believe it or not, to practice, let's just say, laziness, it takes, I mean, you have to do something for it. Do you see what I'm saying? So you're always doing something. you know, it's a matter of, I mean, how beneficial is that to you? Are you building or are you destroying? But that doesn't, I mean, the builders, that's part of our makeup. Like you do that on a regular basis. In fact, the difference, if you're looking at a dumb guy and a smart man, it's how they spend their time, right? It's in the nature of what they're doing. That goes to show you there's always something taking place. You're always doing. So you are the doer, so it's just a matter of, and to be born again, and this is where to, help you to see things from a different perspective or seeing it from a higher level. And that's where the Christ comes in. That Christ consciousness, that's what it allows you to do, to go a little bit deeper, to see yourself past, even though we all look at ourselves from a physical perspective, from a dick and pussy perspective, you got to keep it real. When people are saying keeping it real, to realize, hey man, you are physical or shit is really happening. This, or even what we call facts too at times. So I'm saying is, or when shit hit the fence, like we look at it from all different angles, but when you're able to look at yourself past all of these things, you know, now when you truly get to understand, just like I was just saying, that we are all doers. Just like to be stupid, you practice stupidity. It's not a one-time thing where you just made a stupid mistake and then, that's how people were able to change, man. Like people are changing because they no longer doing the same thing they were doing. That's when change is taking place. But for that to happen, you would have to be born again. There's also a spark. This is where they tell you, as a man thinketh, so he becomes. There's an aha moment. There's something you have to realize on your own. That's when, you change path. That's when you take conscious or you take accountability. Name it whatever you will, but that inner thing must take place. That inner realization or that aha moment, and then somehow, or sometimes it doesn't matter. Like, as long as you get to it, I mean, sometimes, for the most part, it's always when some bad shit happens, right? And when you understand that, that's why we say, hey, man, what you think is bad isn't really bad. It's guiding you. In fact, I have a whole recording, and I really like that one too, where I was talking about, how life teaches you. Life is not against us, man. And what people are calling karma, I mean, it's your perspective, but ultimately, karma is not truly there to fuck you up. I mean, you get fucked up by it because if you put out a lot of fucked up shit, but the key thing here is balance, is justice. I mean, what the fuck, man? You can't be just fucking I mean, everybody around and thinking nothing. I mean, like it's cool and shit. If helping everybody out benefits you, well, if you're destroying everybody, you should also feel it too. So that's what makes this a perfect harmony. Like when we say life is a bitch, well, it depends on how you're looking at it, man. Or did you learn from the bitch? And if you learn from the bitch, she's not gonna be as much as a bitch, trust me. If you truly learn, if you're elevating from it, because ultimately, and that's what I was saying too, man. That's why you need to invite more truth into your life. Because what you're doing by inviting truth is that you are, man, not only creating a better world for yourself, because all those truths, it's it's giving you a better understanding. It's funny, and I was also inspired to even talk about that because when people are telling you about the things that they learn in life, it's adding on to your vision. It's giving you more understanding. You are seeing better. When you start not judging a book by its cover, you truly start seeing better because now you're seeing under the veil. You're not looking at the okey doke, man. So that's the true sights. And if you understand any of this shit so far, I mean, this is also ironically revealing our essence. So this is why, for me, that's why I talk of spirituality. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like this is not. I mean, it is my opinion, but it's not my opinion. It's my opinion because it's coming from me, but also it's become I came to realize this shit as this shit is coming from me as well. So I'm speaking from an understanding perspective, not just repeating, because the truth is everything has already been said, man. I mean, the way I said it, I mean, that's where I come in. But in essence, it's been already said, man. I mean, the same God that existed yesterday. In fact, that's what we're going to be talking about today, man. It still exists today. When you understand that, listen, now you have shifted and entered a whole new reality. Now you understand to be Christ-like, you have to be Christ-like. Now you understand why it's necessary for you to be Christ-like. Do you see what I'm saying? When you understand, like, listen, when you speak of your ancestors, when you speak of, that's why the best way to honor your ancestors, man, is for you to be the best you. If we're talking about not t Turner, we're talking about uh, 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 Mandela, we're talking about whoever the fuck in the black community that did some powerful shit. If you're talking about that, you ain't doing shit. I mean, it's almost like a slap in that motherfucker's face, man. I mean, that same guy that existed, like, because he did something. He made, okay, so how much of a difference are you doing today? Do you see what I'm saying? But people want to talk about other people and their great accomplishment, which is great. But if their accomplishment is not leading you to your accomplishment, it's like you don't, it would be best for you not to even talk about it. Because now, shit, like, I mean, you could do whatever the fuck you want, but it's like, how do you come so close just to fail? Do you see what I'm saying? So in that sense, I don't know. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, oh man, we definitely got a good one. But we're gonna keep it short too, man, because I gotta keep a list for myself at times. But being Christ-like, being Buddha-like, what that is, it's any human being who had became or who have attained the level of understanding that Jesus did have or that Buddha did have. So those people are representing or represented as, let's just say, let me move this shit to the side here, man. So those people represents, let's just say, the true manifestation of the word being made in flesh, being made flesh. They have attained that level of understanding and knowing about who they are. And then now they are turning around and telling, hey guys, this is what I've learned. That's why Jesus turned around and told you, you would be able to do even greater things than I've done. I mean, and if you really think about it, let's just say Jesus being the example, and now you learning from the example, now you becoming a new example. And anything you do is going to be better than him, not necessarily from a competitive perspective, because it comes from you. Or even if you don't want to call it better than them too, like it doesn't matter. You're doing something. That's the purpose. The whole purpose of becoming spiritual is for you to be the best version of who you are, to love one another. But that is a level of understanding, though, for you to truly see, hey, we are brothers. What makes us the same is not what we look like, but underneath how we operate. So the whole thing that niggas do have, we have this brother thing. We always call each other brother. It's also been part of that. Is when you understand, hey man, underneath it all, we operate the same. In other words, we have the same divine essence. As a man thinketh, so he becomes. And that goes for every man. That's why I can say I am you and you are me. This is coming from that understanding. That's what makes it an esoteric type of thing, which is the type of knowledge that goes beyond just the physical or what it looks like. So to be Christ-like, this is what you have to pretty much uncover. That's the part of your reality that you would have to realize. That's the realization of all of these things. And that's what being Christ-like is, Buddha-like is, and all these things. Another way of saying that too is to become illuminated by awakening the dormant part of you, like the spirit aspect of you, the shadow work that you were not aware of, and by you bringing all of these dark side of you into light, now you become a bright man, a man of God. The same God, like the God that existed yesterday is still the same God today. And when you understand that, what this is saying is that's why the reality has never changed. I mean, the way we go about it, the way we decorate it, that's when your evolution comes in. Now you created, we have industrial age, we have all of those different ages. It's different ways of rearrange our, let's just say, surface, but the reality remains the same, regardless of which or where you go. And that's the truth too. Once you know that, it sets you free of those material bondage. You know the truth now. You know the true you, which is not just the physical part of the way you look at yourself. It's to know more. You see what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing. Again, this is all, practical aspect of you. And in so many words too, that has also been the misunderstanding that a lot of people have when it comes to spirituality. Because if you don't see the God that existed yesterday is the same one that exists today, then you wouldn't be the same apostle that existed yesterday should be the same today too. I mean, because they were able to do the things that they did because they believed, right? Do we have any believers today? Do you understand what I'm saying? So again, the word is not meant for you to take it literal. This is where the understanding is critical because it has to be practical. The whole idea of even having Christ in your life is for you to live a Christ life. Like the idea of just to have to talk about Buddha is for you to live a Buddha-like life, meaning a life. And this is why they telling you love your enemies. Jesus telling you, you know what? If you love me, keep my commitments. In other words, if you're saying you love me, practice these things. Live this way. Become this. For you to live this way, then you would have to become that. Then how this is how you live in this way. I could just drop the mic right there. Conversation is over. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, no regardless of what I'm going to be talking about here, this is what it is. Now I'm just going to dance around it, technically, or giving you more examples. But as a spiritual healer, that what makes this, you know what I'm saying? This is a whole lot. Again, but your mind is a whole lot. And this is why I get the way that I go about this is that I help you to become mentally and emotionally balanced. In other words, start to acknowledge this part about you that you don't know. This is what any type of, let's just say, new age or spiritual book will teach you about helping you to acknowledge your subconscious mind. Can you see it? No. Is it under your conscious mind? Yes. How do you know it? When you know it. And them pointing the finger at it, that's why they helping you, like, to see it yourself. And that's when people will say, you know what, maybe subconsciously I've been doing this, meaning they doing a certain things that their conscious mind is not aware of. And for you to become Christ-like, that part of you that you're not aware of and the part that of you that you're aware of must come together. Then that's when now you become fully integrated, or the shiny one, the bright ones. Then now your words becomes as powerful as your action. Your action matches and your word match together. Now you standing, now you in a perfect square because there's no corners. I'm getting emotional. At times, I love it. That's the perfect square with no corners. This is when, after taking accountability, now accountability doesn't even matter anymore. But you have to take accountability first. Then you realize, listen, man, all of it had to happen. I know this was my mistake, that was my mistake, and then I did this, I did that, I was able to learn whatever the fuck. Then when you attain that highest level, you're like, no, 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 no. I had to fall. How else would I be here? I mean, accountability also takes a part of it too, because that was the beginning. That was your first step. But once you start walking, man, listen, man, I had to fall, man. What you talking about, man? And this is what we're talking about here, man. Like, this is the level of mastery. So being Christ-like, Buddha-like, it's a practical thing. Then now you have spirituality. I mean, this is all about you, man. This is the wake-up call. This is where I hold on that mirror for you to see and this is where you're getting the good words too. But anyway, let's delve right into it. So yeah, so you have to start to acknowledge those different aspects of yourself. There's a psychological aspect of you, there's an emotional part of you, because what you're doing is once you start to acknowledge those different aspects, it would now give you a better way to handle all of it. I mean, if you're not aware of it, how do you fix anything if you don't even know what the fuck the problem is? Let alone, you know what I'm saying? So that's why that's why when you go see yourself, that's why you have to be in harmony with your emotions. To be emotionally balanced, what this is referring here, and like I always tell you guys, is dealing with you understanding your own emotions, not the fake behavior that a lot of people are trying to project. This is, oh, he must be, a well kept, or he didn't scream, he didn't say fuck, or he didn't raise his voice. All of that can well be part of it too. Once you understand, you may choose not to, you know. But being healthily, emotionally healthy too, sometimes you gotta let a nigga know. Nigga, fuck you. And in other times, you choose your battle wisely. I mean, that's part of, this is when being smart and acting smart are two different things. But anyway, I'm not going to delve too much into that. But, to be truly emotionally balanced, it's you knowing your true emotions. It's not faking or behaving a certain way in front of people. And then when people's not around, they're like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of people do. Let me just behave like that. And then, when people are not around, start throwing shit away and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, whoa, that was, yeah. A lot of us, we know how to, mask it. But either way, it's you're still gonna get that fucking reaction. This is why, hey, listen, man. It's a matter. It's you have to awake to you got to be awakened to it because either way, life is happening. The lesson is either you put up and learn the lesson and go with the flow of life, or you put yourself against it, and now then you'll say life is a bitch and all that other shit. Then karma is like, oh man, fuck karma. But I mean, shit, really? I mean, if you want to be rewarded for your good words or your good deeds, it's only fair. That's why the universe is a mirror. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. How are you looking at it? And it takes beauty to see beauty. To the pure, all is pure. Do you see how your input, how your inner and your outer works together? And that has to be acknowledged for you to change it and to make it better, that is. But it's still happening. That's why most people are living an insane life, and you become sane only through understanding a better state of mind, clarity, intelligence, spirit. All of these things are all the qualification of your essence, of the part of you that you don't see. And for you to become Christ like, you have to embrace the part of you that you don't see. And this is where the dark side comes in, and not nothing spooky, but something that is not in plain sight. And to do your shadow work, you got to get into the darkness. What is it that I do not see about me? Then you start to acknowledge these things. So again, however you want to label it, however you want to put it, it all comes down to our true essence. And that essence, we all the same. Chinese, whatever the fuck, we're all the same. And to get to know somebody, regardless of what their nationality is or what they look like, you gotta look beyond all that shit and be like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Because cool kid is cool kid, regardless of where you come from, man. I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? You're an asshole. Assholes everywhere, bro. Assholes comes in different languages, niggas, different nationality. You gotta spot them. Don't fall for the okie doke, man. But anyway, let's delve right. So those are the things that, as a spiritual healer, man, I help you to acknowledge when we talk about your emotional aspect of yourself. Now let's flip it to your intellect. That's another big part of you. Intellect. I mean, your psychological aspect is mixed it's a mixture of that too. You know what I'm saying? You can't talk about just the psychological aspect and removing your fucking emotions. This is why your whole thing, you have to become emotionally intelligent. Being emotionally intelligent, what that means is you're not getting rid of your emotions, but you're using it smartly. Not to catch the pearls before before pearls. That's a smart way of not of using your energy. Love the person who loves you. That's another way or even when they say loving the person who don't love you, that what that means is you're still using it smartly, but now you have compassion for that motherfucker. That's what having compassion is. I can relate, even though I wouldn't do it, but I can understand. And when you see it that way, now it gives you the opportunity not to judge someone else. When I can see myself in you, I'm not judging you. It's only when, people who judge others, the whole idea is, what I'm saying, either to separate themselves, to make themselves look higher, and this is from that perspective, this is where judgment comes in. But if I have compassion for you, there's no way I'm judging you. I understand. So instead of criticizing you, I understand what makes you do what you do. I mean, however you want to put it, it's still going to be a side. I mean, a sad sight because, I mean, how do you neglect you, man? You know what I'm saying? It's still gonna be sad. You know what I'm saying? It's still gonna be sad. It is what it is. But anyway, then now dealing with your mental, that's very important, you know, because a lot of us, man, when you really think about it, to shape your mind a certain way, to have understanding or even the society that we are part of, that's really what it comes down to. You got to understand what makes you you. And if you're being raised in a certain nation, you being raised to see life a certain way. This is where the culture comes in. Because culture goes beyond what you eat. It's not just what you eat. It's really how you see life, your understanding of life. This is where culture comes in. This is why you do what you do. This is how it comes in. So to understand somebody else's culture, I know for me being a Haitian nigga, that I have to understand that. This is the part where they're telling you it's easier for a child, because they're not judging. They're not having a hard time of holding on to one image because that's technically what's happening. And I noticed that, and this is what the whole broken English is, right? It's when, let's just say in my Haitian mentality, right? And I'm speaking English from that perspective, but for me to speak like you, I have to think like you. You see what I'm saying? And this is what, you know what I'm saying? And this is what I always tell people, man. Like some people wants to be fancy or who somehow wants to show how educated they are by saying when you speak a certain language, that is the name of what the language is. Like that's when, for me, it's always different. You speak your nationality. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they'll tell you too. Let's just say, even when we're talking about Creole, right? They would just say Haitian Creole. There's a reason why they say that. Because they speak with their Haitian mentality. They do this like that. They do that like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why, like, even in the UK, like, it's not the same English. They speak with their perspective. That's why they say this, they say that, they act like this, they act like that. I mean, that goes beyond the fucking accent. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, truly, being American, man, you're gonna speak American. But you may call it English. I understand. Anyway, we're not even here for that. So now, again, your I mean, your mental part is very important. How were you trained to think? Because if you're looking at the society that we're living in, we are trained to think a certain way. This is why you have what is called the economy, then your perception of what life becomes now. Okay, you go to school, not even to learn, to get a good job, to get a good paying job. Like, because I remember even when I went to college myself, the whole idea, I was smart, not because I chose to learn, but because, what I'm saying? It's almost like we all know you're going to school just to make money, bro. What are you going to school for? Make money, And then that's when now all the confusion comes in. Okay, what do you like? Money. I mean, you have a passion? Money. That's when now smart people will tell you, you know what? Why don't you take a look at the market, look at the different salaries, so-called smart. But then again, the bottom line of what I'm trying really telling you here is that train of it's how you being trained to think. Then what you're calling smart now becomes relatively to that because you don't see the full picture. But I'm also showing you when you're thinking that way, you're not in control of your own thinking because you're following what's already been, arranged and created for you to walk right into. This is why in the occult they tell, I mean, you walk into a fucked up life. You're literally born into a fucked up life. Not because of, let's just say, life in itself, but the conceptions, the way that the cultural limitations for those who don't, not born of the light. You see what I'm saying? A lot of us will understand that. That's why, like, a lot of those rituals that we do, let's just say, even in baptism, this is us talking to you know, the other world, letting them know we'll be taking care of this one here. We'll give them the wisdom that is necessary. That's what you do when you're raising another spirit at your house or, so-called your kids. You helping them to see the light for themselves, as you have seen the light yourself. But you would have to already be free now to be able to set them free. But now we walk into a world where it's bondage for the most part. The school system, even to, where to speak of who you are, it's not even spoke about. And religion, who you would probably think, okay, well, I mean, let's do it that route. I mean, it's fucking you up even worse. And now you come to realize, wait a minute, those two institutions are working together. So you're really fucked. But you're not fuckable. That's the good news. Because this is where you come in. This is where a lot of our ancestors were able to, so to speak, hide, the gold in plain sight, if that makes any sense. And this is where too a motherfucker like me is able to come in and talk to you like this. Or even, what I'm saying, letting you know what they said and revealing the gem that is in plain sight. And in so many words too, in my last recording, I talked about, how this illusion is revealing the truth to you. And that's the key. Once you realize that, nothing is against you. Because the people, so to speak, who even trying to, that's how the true alchemists understand that, and that's how you able to transmute whatever negative energy that's being sent to you, and the stone that is being sent to you. Now you building a house with them. That's what I did. Shit, I got a whole mention of those stones. So there's a lot that was thrown at me. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. It comes with the package. Oh, it's a fully loaded package. You know what I'm saying? I got the full exclusive one. Mine was very exclusive. But anyway, so mentally balanced for you, so those different aspects of you have to come together. This is why you have to be mentally and emotionally balanced. But not just that, I forgot to mention your emotions plays a big part in how you see things. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not just, let's just say, your intellect being shaped a certain way, but your emotion comes in too. Now it's fucking it up. Made it even worse. And those two have to become together because a lot of people always think, okay, because your emotions sometimes, and that's, the ones that people almost always see, right? When they talk about such and such as being so emotional, what you're truly saying is you realize, okay, there's certain things that they don't see right now. Give them a minute. You know what I'm saying? They just be going, cool, and once they come back, what I'm saying, well, babe, maybe he'll see things better, right? And because of that, some people say, you know what? Fuck my emotions. Let me just think now. And that's also that's another mistake. It's not, if not to say the biggest mistake. When you're just saying, just thinking, you remove your emotions, that's the foundation for toxicity. That's what toxic people, I mean, that's who they are. That's how they operate. And also, not to mention, you become a fucking asshole too. Like, you stepping on people's toes, you know what I'm saying? Only logic matters. Then you can't relate to other people. And your logic is not even making any sense. But you think you're being logical. You see what I'm saying? Because to add more logic to your logic, you need a little bit of emotion to help you to see it clearer, a little bit better. That was the idea when Jesus said, when the man was saying, you know what I'm saying, should we stone her? That's what the book says. That's what she did. And then Jesus tell him, you know what? Like, whichever one of you motherfuckers, a little bit of emotion. See better, bitch. Like, who has no, is, what I'm saying, who's free of sin, cast the first stone. In other words, what this is saying, nigga, you know what I'm saying? If you got your own problems, why you worry about somebody else's problem? Like that's what we have this a popular song in Haiti too, man. I remember, technically it's called Little Jocelyn, but that's me trying to translate it, but that was the name. It's like keep criticizing somebody else's how dirty their houses are, but yeah, your house is just full of dirt. You know, what I'm saying that time you could have just cleaned up your house. This is where judgment doesn't really help nobody, man. Like, why are you passing that judgment? Like, that's why for me, man, I'd rather nigga, I got things to do, man. You know what I'm saying? I'll let what I do for myself be the judgment instead of me verbally doing it. And when you do that, you know what I'm saying? That's when compassion comes in. It's not, you know what I'm saying? And that requires a higher perspective. And that's what your emotions, when they come with your intellect, is powerful. They don't work against each other, they work with each other. Somebody says no, why are you trying to force them, bro? I'm saying, what's your deal? I'm saying, what are you trying to prove? You know what I'm saying? What are you proving to somebody who don't want you? I don't get it. Or what are you proving? Let's just say to somebody who had hurt you in the past. That's why, you know what I'm saying, you haven't learned your lesson. There's a powerful quote that says, you know what I'm saying, live somebody because you learn your lesson, not to teach them a lesson. Because every time you're teaching somebody else's a lesson, for the most part, that's what you're gonna that's what you're gonna learn. Whenever you think you're gonna give a lesson to somebody else, that's what you're gonna learn. But if you already learn your lesson, you move along. It is what it is. But anyway, I mean, again, for you to attain that Christ consciousness, for you to, you know what I'm saying, these are the things, this is what the work is. That's what the inner work is all about. This is when you would have to reprogram yourself, understand what your subconscious, it's a whole other stuff in that. That's what your shadow work entail. Now, okay, why am I thinking this way? Where did that come from? And technically, you rebuilding yourself from your true essence at this point. And when you understand that, you don't become what you're not. You're becoming what you already are in essence. Because now you are making that reconciliation with yourself. This is the union. This is the son coming back home. It has been said in so many different forms, in so many different ways, but ultimately it's talking about the same thing. And that's what makes this a practical thing too. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking for the tea, this is the real tea, motherfucker. This is the herbal tea you need to drink. That's it. Not the gossip, but this is the tea, nigga. That's what's hot. Because this tea will heal your motherfucking ass. This tea, after you drink it, you're gonna feel better. You would want to drink some more. This is the real tea that you need for you to better your own fucking self. This is the true word that needs to be spread. That's the gospel, nigga. This is the true gospel, and that's what it means. So again, like that's what makes this for the livings, the ones who are experiencing it, the true practitioners. And if you're not that, that's who you need to become. That's who you need to become. That's where you need to go. That's the door I'm pointing to you. This is where you have to stand in front of them, which is yourself. And the shadow work and all that stuff. And this is why ultimately, when we talk about spirituality, it's making you a better version of you. Ta-da! And spirituality for dummies right there. So, and as you understand that now, let's delve into, what we came here to talk about. Shit. I mean, I hope so far all of it made sense, but this is also a preparation for even a deeper conversation that we're going to be talking about now, which is, the God that existed yesterday is the same as today. Because when you understand that, you truly have to wake up to that. When someone's telling you there's nothing new under the sun, that's what this is also revealing to you. When they tell you history repeats itself, that's what it means. That's why the guy Robert Greene did an excellent job in his book, The 40th Power of Law. He was using a lot of people, he lost a lot of people, by using old references to tell you, I mean, what the fuck do you think the new armies is using now? Do you think the Napoleon techniques no longer exist? Or are people building from that? So I'm saying that to let you know this is how you should also use the past. But the past, what you're learning also here about the past is the practicality of life. This is how our ancestors were able to have the writing on the wall for us. This is what the wisdom are. Those are the truth, those spiritual laws that we need to learn. And that's what I was saying. That is also the truth you need to invite more into your life. This is what your house, your foundation should be made out of. Those true stones, those different truths. Because to really see life or even to have a deeper perspective of life, this is where the wisdom comes in. And that's what you get in your quotes. That's why I have a channel dedicated, I call it now the good words. You know what I'm saying? But, essentially it's the power of words too. How powerful words are and what's embedded in those statements and how these things are being said. Oh, that's what makes it, oh man, so powerful. So that's why for me, I don't fully subscribe to the idea of, the meaning of a word or the intention you put behind a word. I mean, I see it too, okay. But it's not as powerful as understanding the power of words. When you hear how certain things are being said and you get to witness how the words is acting up on you. I know I have all the time. Say that again. That was just for me. Just to show you. But anyway, yeah, it's the practicality. It's the practicality of this knowledge. It has to be practical. The idea of that same God that existed, like how are we existing today? What changes are you bringing to the world? How different are you? Do you see what I'm saying? Even when we talk about our ancestors, they did this, they did that. Well, what are we doing today? And the best way to honor anything, I mean, how do you truly honor them, but yet, you know what I'm saying? What's up with you, dog? You know what I mean? I mean, shit. Do you even know how precious they are? I mean, let's be honest, man. You won't even know until you all walk in that path yourself. This is why, for me, I know the other people tell you to honor your ancestors, and I will tell you the same too. But you also need to wake up to that too. Then you understand honoring them is not just a fucking thing of the past, nigga. It's a thing of the past, the present, and the future. And this is why our ancestors will forever be alive, nigga. If you understand what I just said. Because the truth is not limited to, okay, that was that truth there. Anytime a truth existed at this point, it's not the truth. It was just the circumstances, it was just what happens. It was okay. You know what I'm saying? You change the circumstances around, things are gonna change. The true nature of a motherfucker, either or, is gonna change. You know what I'm saying? And here's the same thing too, man. The Jesus that existed then, I mean, again, you have to, the whole aspect of us speaking of Christ like is that you have to be yourself. There's a Paul, there's a Simon, there's all these things. Where are you now? Where do you fit in? Because the gist of that story is to let you know, it has to take place now. Or it manifested. It did happen. If it did happen, what are you doing now? That's how Jesus saved you. For you, Jesus lover motherfuckers. Jesus lover motherfuckers, man. It's like they always tell you how much they love Jesus, but I never understand their appreciation for it. You know what I'm saying? Or how is that even manifested into their lives? Do you see what I'm saying? And that's how you truly honor them. So again, you know, it all comes down to that practicality. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it here. I gotta handle some other business, but I wanted to come out real quick and keep it under an hour too, because I can really go in into that one, especially this one. I mean, there's a lot that I'm living for your imaginary. You know what I'm saying? For imagination to actually step in and fulfill those missing, you know, those things that you need to wake up to. I give you enough for you now to build on your own. All right? Aishin, Malik. Bang. I'm out.